This gentleman now just want to make you run as much as possible. There's someone just outside Leicester asking a question.
Unlike your fellow actors, you have a certain amount of anonymity because you are burdened or blessed with the mask, and you also change your voice, whereas they're going to be recognized because they're pretty much the way they are.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a situation where you were perhaps in a group of famous people who weren't recognizing you, where you found yourself wanting to suddenly sound like Crichton so they might get the idea? Or do you prefer the anonymity?
I love the anonymity. I mean, from my point of view, I was involved with Red Dwarf for 10 years, and in 1998 I started another TV series called Scrappy Challenge Junkyard Wars in America, and had this very shocking experience because I got very used to pretty much, on the street anonymity. Nobody ever came up to me, or very rarely came up to me on the street, and I'd go shopping and I'd walk around the street, my flies undone, and I'd forget I'm such a scruff, And then when that series went out in this country, it was sort of double the impact, because it was loads of people saw that show and went, oh, that's what he looks like. Oh. so then I'd walk down the street and people go, oh, you're that bloke. Oh. So that was a bit of a disappointment, but the only person I've ever, that's the scenario you set up that ever happened, was actually, I was at Shepperton, and I must have been doing Red Dwarf, and Harvey Keitel was there filming, I think, a movie called Fairies, I believe it was called, about C.S. Lewis and fairies, and I don't know, I never saw the movie. So, and I was standing with the woman who does my makeup, and her husband is a production manager, and he was working on this film, and we were having a pint, I wasn't having a pint, I was having an orange juice outside the pub, and Harvey, this guy walked up, Harvey Keitel, oh, like that. And of course he didn't know who I was, absolutely not, but I knew who he was. And then somebody said, oh, this is Robert, he's in Red Dwarf. And, oh my God, Red Dwarf! But then I said, it's much better that way round. Rather, I knew that bloke, or I've never seen, so then it was very nice, it was lovely. So, yeah, but I generally don't go around and get sort of meeting Tom Cruise. I'm kind of going, Tom, do you know what I do? Oh, I've met one. Oh. I don't tend to do that. Thank you. Good question, then. Young lady there, because you're right there.
I've watched a couple of your Carpool episodes on iTunes. I've subscribed to it or whatever.
Oh, right.
If you had a chance to choose anybody, dead or alive, to be on Carpool, who would it be?
Dead or alive, it's very hard, dead or alive, isn't it? I don't know. For those of you, just to explain it, if you haven't seen this, I do an online series called Carpool, where I give someone a lift and we talk in a kind of conversation. So I've done all the cast of Red Dwarf, Ed By, the director. Not all the cast, I'm working on all the cast. I've just arranged one to do one with Hattie. Paul Jackson is the most recent, who was the original producer of Red Dwarf a while ago, and tells some great stories about the early days of Red Dwarf. So it is a sort of thing I've realised I didn't even plan it to start with. It's a long story, I won't bore you with how it came about, but one of the things that's come about of it is I'm meeting all these amazing people that I really admire and who keep saying yes. And I ring them up and say, could you get in my car and talk? And we're going for a drive, it's got cameras, and I want to do some talking, it's not an interview. And then you expect them to go, no darling, I'm very busy. But they say yes. So next Wednesday I'm recording one with Patrick Stewart. I recorded one with a guy called Duncan Jones, who's an amazing young man, filmmaker. He's just made a movie called Moon. I don't know, has anyone seen Moon? Brilliant. What a brilliant film, isn't it? I loved it. And Duncan Jones, who's Duncan Jones? Well, he's got a bit of a famous dad, because when he was born, he was called Zowie Bowie. And he tells the best stories, it's worth seeing, the best stories about having a dad called David Bowie when you're playing rugby. Just fantastic, because whatever David Bowie does know, he doesn't know a lot about rugby. He was clapping the other team. Just a brilliant story. He's such a lovely lad. Very nice, very amazing. I mean, when you think of the world he's come out of, he's the most unpretentious, charming bloke you've ever met. So I'm getting to meet, in a sense, the people I would really love to do. I'd love to do his dad, because I was a bit of a Bowie fan when I was young, but I'd be so nervous. Hi, David, where do you want to go? quite weird, but if I could choose anyone, let me think. Because there's a couple of very, very famous, I'm not going to say they are real, proper famous people we've all heard of that have said yes, but I've got to get to them to do it, so it's going to take a bit of arranging, which was a big surprise. But Jodie Foster, because I've loved her since I was about 10. Even though she's not that interested in boys. No, it's not that, I just admire her. So I've got to get Jodie Foster in the car. She sounds quite a bright lady. But it's not just to explain, it's not just famous people or funny people. I mean, I've done lots of scientists and engineers, and Richard Noble, the guy who's got the land speed record holder, built the car that did that, and he's presently building a car that will do 1,000 miles an hour. Which is quite extraordinary. He went to hear him explain how they're planning to do that was a real thrill. So all sorts of different people on it. So if you're interested, go to iTunes and search Carpool, one word, CARPOOL, or you can see it on LewTube, which is my own channel. It's like YouTube, only it's mine, but don't go to LewDtube. I didn't know about that when I started it, but someone showed me what LewTube is. Oh dear.
Actually, on topic of YouTube.
Oh, sorry, I don't know who's talking. I can hear a voice. Oh, sorry, I can hear a voice. Sorry.
But on the topic of that,
Yeah.
how fun was it to do that one video where you're wearing that blonde wig dancing to that? I can't remember what song it was, but
Push the button.
yes, that one.
More fun than a man my age. Yes, that was well. It was the early. That's on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Saw that one.
There's a huge temptation now for me to go in and remove videos from YouTube, like most of the ones I've done, because I use it as a sort of experimental laboratory.
Yeah.
What can you get away with in the visual medium? And I wish I could just delete them, but it feels cheating if you delete them. I mean, they're sort of there. They've just become something that you have to leave there. So it's very embarrassing. But I just wanted to try out that. It was such a weird medium when I first came across YouTube in 2006 probably. And I just went, this is extraordinary. You can do it and do anything, you know. And at that stage, I think there were hundreds of videos of teenage girls like lip syncing along to weird pop songs. And I went, well, I'm an old middle-aged bloke. I'll do it as well. Crap long wig, I'll let it go. But yes, I get in a lot of trouble for the things I say on YouTube, and I should shut up. There's a young man, very enthusiastic young man down